Welcome to part two, everybody. We're back. We sometimes have situations where our program crashes due to overload. And because I'm running pretty much maximum output here, and I've got a bunch of things to get to tonight, as we wrap up and kind of summate our entire show, we're going to be featuring a lot of issues that, obviously have been brought up in the show. And I'm going to kind of recap what we talked about. This is our second part. Today we found out that it takes $75,000 to house a prisoner in California. It costs more than a year in Harvard. Yeah, pretty crazy, isn't it? Prisoners are costing us dearly, and we need a much more efficient system than the for-profit prison business. And then this story: every illegal alien costs Americans $70,000 over their lifetime. Steve Camarata has come up with the statistic. Yeah. Another example of how our system is being drained. And now Trump is pushing for sanctuary cities like Obama did, which shows you that Trump is part of the deep state. He's doing exactly what Obama did, which more than proves to you Republicans who voted for him that yes, the Russian oligarchs, the Zionists, even AIPAC, they don't want borders around our country. They want to dissolve the borders around our country. These are the Zionists, the New World Order Zionists that are trying to take over not only our country, but other countries. So yeah, Russia is part of it, for sure. Airplane during flight, caught on video, scary things happening. We'll play a little of this and we'll put it in our lineup tonight.
What's going on, you guys? My name's Ty Knotts, and welcome to Top 5 Unknowns.
Now, this guy has 1.8 million subscribers. He's an AdSense guy. He makes lots of money on this stuff. So there's a lot of work that goes into this, obviously, but as long as he keeps his message non-political, he will never be kicked off of YouTube. Whenever someone makes a political statement that they usually, especially forming a political party like we're doing, they get censored immediately. Thank you. I'll add that to the lineup. Good night, Phoebe. Thank you for coming in. We're hoping to guide a lot of you Trump-tards toward our position here on the show. Yeah, it's not easy. I'm steering people toward America's third party because, frankly, I think a lot of you have missed the whole point that Trump was about, which was doing whatever people tell him to do. So, all right. I don't know. The access point to Hillary's death count has been terminated. When we went for a search the other day for the Hillary death count or the Hillary body count, Clinton body count, we found tons of stuff in front of it. Let's go ahead and do this together. I'm going to go to Google and see what the Clinton body count brings us. Nope. Rumors, truth or fiction. Debunking sites. Clinton Chronicles debunks it. Body count, Conservapedia. It was originated in 1987. YouTube, there's a story about the Clinton body count. Let's see what that takes you to. Okay, I'll play that tonight. But it pushed the What's Happening Now site to the very back, the second page. Yeah. So they're managing to knock it down in the search engines. So anytime somebody looks it up. Okay, Phoebe, I'm sorry for calling you a Trump-tard. Yeah, I know that you're registered and independent. And I know a lot of you people have voted. I don't mind calling people names. It's okay. Trump does it all the time. The fact of the matter is, Trump, the whole the QAnon group that's trying to kind of corral in a lot of issues regarding him stopping the deep state. There's just no merit to anything they're saying. But when you talk about the deep state, there's a lot of merit to discussing the dangers of the deep state. And I applaud the QAnon effort to expose the deep state, but Trump's not going to do it. Sorry. Okay, we finally got a good source for the Clinton body count from Dark Engine. Thank you, Dark Engine. Okay, here it is. The allegations that these people have been up to getting rid of witnesses. No, the Illuminati does not eliminate all discussions of chemtrails or the New World Order. The Illuminati controls all opposition. They couldn't possibly be effective if they didn't talk about it. That's why Alex Jones brings up stories that I lead on. And he goes on. When I talked about Benghazi being faked, he went right into his SUV that day. I saw him and repeat my entire broadcast in content-wise. You're not going to believe this, but they actually targeted the Abbottabad takeover of Osama bin Laden in order to divert our attention from the birth certificate issue, which was my entire theory. And he ran that story. They will run controlled opposition. You will believe that they're actually fighting the deep state. When you get done listening to controlled opposition propaganda, you'll believe Donald Trump is stopping the deep state. Yet he has never prosecuted Hillary Clinton once. Now tell me this isn't a smoking gun. The Clintons have left a trail of death and destruction in their wake. This is who we've lost and why they're targeted. It goes on to talk about all these people, dating back to 1987 forward, every one of them in detail. Every one of these people died of mysterious deaths and were not investigated. Every one of them leads to a possible incrimination or incriminating evidence against the Clintons. Every one of these people could have put the Clintons in jail for the rest of their life. Every one of them is dead. That's a little bit suspicious, if you ask me. And I don't think this list is even current. But it is a good list. Thank you. Well, Phoebe, the point of the matter is we have a system that we can elect people with. We still believe in our political system. That's why I'm building a third party. If you want to negate the whole system because you voted for Trump, I'm sorry for you. Mueller report is completely being suppressed. I doubt we'll ever see it. It's going to be redacted by the one man that probably is working for Russia, William Barr. William Barr's entire recent statement, 4-page statement that there was no obstruction, is completely tainted with subjectivity. He is biased. He wrote a 19-page letter to Rod Rosenstein asking for them not to investigate any obstruction charges. That automatically makes him completely unqualified to become our Attorney General. He is our Attorney General, but he should never have been authorized or nominated. Trump put him in there to rig the vote. Total collusion is going on right now. You voted for Trump because you hated Hillary, and I don't blame you. I really don't. But this system has been suppressing third-party voices for so long that now it's completely being hijacked by people who have more power than the two parties, who can buy the two parties. And the last thing they want is a third party to grow in America. It'll challenge their entire game plan of buying off politicians. We did find out something about Misanthropy's mother recently. We didn't know anything about you, Misanthropy, but you did lead us to believe that your mom looks like a 20-year-old. This is not a sports coat. This is something I got off the rack at a thrift store. It's a David Taylor. Yeah, sorry. So apparently people believe that somehow the New World Order Illuminati is going to suppress every bit of information against them. Well, they can control people like Alex Jones, who makes $20 million a year, according to his deposition. They can suppress people like that. They can buy them. Anybody who makes that much money is going to be controlled, right? I've made nothing, not one penny in 10 years. They can't control me, so they're worried that this political movement is going to take off and we're going to expose the direct links between Donald Trump and the Russian oligarchs and the Zionist elitists in this country. It's no joke that he's surrounded by Jewish Ashkenazis. Everyone in his entire team at the Trump enterprise is literally an Ashkenazi.
Elon Musk, member, President Trump's Strategic and Policy Forum, Ashkenazi Jew. Samuel Nunberg, former policy advisor, Donald J. Trump for president, Ashkenazi Jew. David Orowitz, senior vice president of acquisitions and development, the Trump Organization, Ashkenazi Jew. Jeffrey Palmer, donor, Rebuilding America Now PAC, Ashkenazi Jew. John Paulson, donor, Trump Victory Fund, member, Trump Economic Advisory Council, Ashkenazi Jew.
The list goes on and on. They're all Ashkenazis. And frankly, Ashkenazis aren't even Jewish. They're not even directly related to Abraham. Their mother's mother is not Jewish. I know we don't feature that guy. That's my idea. Yeah, I'm the one who came up with the 3D CGI of me doing daily events around the country. I'm the one who came up with that idea about 5 years ago. It's on record. So while Yang gets all the coverage he wants, I get none. That's what you're saying? Nice. Thanks. She looks half your age, yeah. People don't realize that while all these people pretend to fight, they are laughing at you. Laughing at who? Who are you to say who's laughing at me? Do you even hear the voices of the American people? Well, maybe that's the problem. You're extrapolating your ideas from your own beliefs. Hey, there's been fentanyl-laced marijuana in Sullivan County. If you are in the New York area, Oneida, beware, don't buy pot, even if it's legal in New York. Oh, okay. Thanks. Yeah, it looks like they've been trying to spike the legalization movement. Wow, this is weird. I can't read it. Is this like naturally blur? That's weird. Never seen it. Oh, there it is. According to McCoyle, this person, sheriff of the area, Robert McCoyle, the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office arrested an individual for possessing I'm sorry, you can't see this. Oh, okay. Well, at least you know, if you're in Sullivan County, don't buy pot, everybody. It could be laced with fentanyl. Wow. Well, that's pretty heavy-duty stuff. Thank you for the compliment about the jacket, Dr. Colostomy. Yes. You're supposed to believe Trump and Elon Musk are not on the same team while they pretend to fight? Yeah. Yeah, it's all just theater. It's largely theater. The Democrats, Republicans don't disagree on almost everything. They only disagree on certain things that'll prevent our country from moving forward. Yeah, they definitely agree on pay raises for congressmen, no term limits. The Democrats, Republicans both agree on that. They don't want to end their reign of control. They agree on budgetary expansion of the public unions. Even Republicans are endorsing public unions now. Yeah, the days of Wisconsin rebelling are over. Public unions are getting support from we've got a socialist apparatus that's being controlled by both the Democrats and Republicans. The disagreement between the Democrats and Republicans is largely theater to drive us apart. Even Donald Trump is soft on gun control. He's willing to impose restrictions on bump stock, as well as anyone who wants to get a gun who's got PTSD. Donald Trump said, "Oh, first we take the guns, then we do the due process." Yeah. Be very afraid of what they both agree on. Exactly. You probably didn't know this, but the people in Congress, both Democrats and Republicans, can do insider trading, and there's no law against it. 60 Minutes reported this a few years ago, and they were banned from showing this entire show. The entire show on 60 Minutes. Let's see if YouTube still has it. 60 Minutes on... Right. Insider trading in Congress. Yeah, it's divide and conquer. Oldest play in the book. Exactly. CBS News. Okay. We'll play this tonight for you.
The next national election is now less than a year away, and
Steve Kraft is going to trading stock on inside information. We've got a sample of this on YouTube, but it aired and they shut it down. We'll play it tonight for you in our lineup. Thank you. Some people repost this stuff, but CBS News has it out there. It's just they didn't want to make it a big part of their show. And we've got a very interesting thing about Zionism from an Al Jazeera rabbi, David Weiss Zionism, why it was created. This will be interesting, getting to the bottom of the New World Order.
And then to see it's in Arabic, the same message. And basically it means that people, unfortunately, around the world see somebody as I am dressed and they think that automatically I am dressed very religiously. I'm definitely a strong supporter of the state of Israel and of the occupation of the people of Palestine.
And that's not true. In fact, most rabbis actually studied, I'll play that later. Most rabbis have studied the rabbinical text so well, the Torah has no reference to a state of Israel. You see, the Zionist plan to create a state of Israel was implemented in the 1880s. Even Hitler was a Zionist. And he was surrounded by Ashkenazis, ergo the name Nazi. And many of these people don't realize that the Jews were actually killing themselves. At least the Ashkenazis were killing Jews. And many of the Jews were living in that environment and bragging about it. Some of the ones that worked for the Nazis directly were in charge as trustees at the concentration camps. They actually were very happy about being there. George Soros' uncle was one of those Jews, and George Soros said it was the best time of his life, walking around picking out gold bullion out of the mouths of dead Jewish people. He'd go by and crank their mouths open and pull the gold out, and George Soros said that was the best time of his life. You got to understand, the culture of the Ashkenazis was to adapt to the Jewish royalty. The Rothschilds were actually court Jews. They're not officially Jewish. To this day, they're not Jewish. They're court Jews, and they were used to handle the money of the Jewish royalty in the 1500s. They were so good at it that they managed to dominate and make so much money that now they have trillions of dollars. They make Donald Trump look like a pauper. He could shine shoes, basically. Donald Trump would barely be a shoe shine person for Vladimir Putin, who has way more money than he does, as well as the Rothschilds, who have trillions of dollars. So this whole plan was put in place in the 1880s to actually create occupation of the Palestinian homeland. And they orchestrated it by killing off so many Jewish people and taking all their money. And many people don't realize that Hitler was a terrible person and awful. He was just an opportunist. He was getting funding from the Rothschilds to lead the Nazi Party. The Rothschilds directly funded Hitler in his rise to power through conduits that worked for them. Even Henry Ford supported the Nazi Party. The Windsor family supported the Nazi Party. Yeah, they wanted to stop the Bolshevik Revolution from coming into the Western Europe, and they did a pretty good job of that. Hitler was essentially financed by the Rothschilds, but in the end, Hitler had to decide what to do with all these people that he incarcerated because he wanted to send them to Palestine. But the Mufta at the time said no. Now we have statement directly from Netanyahu. Now he won again. He won his entire presidency again. Netanyahu said this about Hitler and the Jews. Listen to this.
And this attack and other attacks on the Jewish community in 1920 and 1921, 1929 were instigated by a call of the Mufti of Jerusalem, Haj Amin al-Husseini, who was later sought for war crimes in the Nuremberg trials because he had a central role in fomenting the final solution. He flew to Berlin. Hitler didn't want to exterminate the Jews at the time. He wanted to expel the Jews. And Haj Amin al-Husseini went to Hitler and said, if you expel them, they'll all come here. So what should I do with them? He asked. He said, burn them. And he was sought in during the Nuremberg trials for prosecution. He escaped it. Later died in cancer after the war, died of cancer in Cairo. But this is what Haj Amin al-Husseini said. He said, the Jews seek to destroy the Temple Mount. My grandfather in 1920 seeks to destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque. So this lie is about 100 years old.
Yeah, there you go. Netanyahu is saying the truth about how Hitler made the decision to kill all those people. The plan was originally to just implant them in this Palestinian area and then have them take over and create a state of Israel. So that's why the state of Israel was formed, because of the Zionists like Adolf Hitler and the Rothschilds. I know we don't learn this in our history books, and they don't teach us in college, because many people are trying to avoid the subject because they'll lose their job. If they talk about this openly, they'll lose their job. They get taken out too. Anybody who openly exposes this gets removed. Jacob Rothschild openly admitted that they created the State of Israel.
His Majesty's government view with favour the establishment of Palestine as a national home for the Jewish people, and will use their best endeavours to facilitate the achievement of this object, it being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine, or the rights and political status enjoyed by Jews in any other country. I should be grateful if you would bring this declaration to the knowledge of the Zionist Federation. Yours, Arthur Balfour.
And here it is, the Balfour Declaration. What do you feel when you see it here?
I feel that it is very nice to have created the State of Israel. We got Billie Eilish up next, everybody. We got live. We're queued up. Yeah, we're ready to go. 10 o'clock, everybody. We're going to trip out to Coachella tonight. I'm so glad this is happening. Thank you. We've got a major event happening. Great music. Now, we've heard that Israel launches an overnight airstrike on Syria. Notably, the Israeli assault comes a mere days after Prime Minister Netanyahu managed to hold on to power in a close election. So I in no way dislike Israel. I in no way dislike what it is now. It's a safe haven for people who are seeking a homeland. They won the 67 Yom Kippur War. I'm not about to retract all that we've seen, and as an ally, Israel is a strong barrier against the dangers of an overtaking Muslim region, which could actually, we all heard about the Ottoman Empire, what happened then. I mean, it could create another crisis. But the reality is, I can't allow, in my mind, Israel to dominate our foreign policy. They certainly could have a place at the table. I don't think AIPAC should be eliminated from our lexicon of super PACs that send money to people. I just won't accept money from them. I won't do their bidding. I'm not trying to enforce a hysterical reactionary trend to hate on Israelis or Jewish people either, or even Ashkenazis. I'm trying to help you understand why we are where we are at now, and how we can orchestrate a plan of peace to deal with countries overseas, where we can look at them credibly as opposed to being a pawn of Israel, where I can reach out to Iran and say, we are not working as Israel's pawn here. I can't do that right now. I would need to begin the process of getting clear understanding of the nuclear program that Israel has. Israel has a nuclear program that they don't want to talk about. They need to sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, and they haven't done that. And in order to get money to them every year, we really do need them to sign that treaty. Otherwise, they're in total violation of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Agreement. So it's going to come down to that. But in no way do I want to hate on Israel or hate on Jewish people. So I want everyone to know that I'm an anti-Zionist. I'm not an anti-Semitic person. Big difference. And you certainly are dealing with a Zionist like Biden on the Democratic side. He's a Zionist. He's openly admitted it. Well, our foreign policy shouldn't be merged at the hip with Israel. That's my point. Let's not forget Israel has the Samson option, which could veritably destroy the world 40 times over from some estimates. Now, that's why one of the reasons why I don't believe we can go back in time and attack Israel and deny their statehood. So I think we have to be realistic that we're all living with nuclear capability, at least the primary major first world nations. And we're going to have to come to the agreement that we're going to live in peace and focus on the real problems facing the world. The real problems are not what you think they are. The real problems that are facing the world involve one particular thing, in my mind, in the future. And that's water. Water is the secret to humanity and the future of mankind. Fresh water. And there's not enough of it. I believe we need much more free, fresh water all across the planet. And we have that. It'll lead to food. Water, food, they will go hand in hand. And then comes prosperity. People are well fed. Humanity succeeds. People are denied, and there's so many people around the world that are denied food. Then humanity languishes in this constant misery, this incredible suffering that is going on around the world. And if we don't get water to all places around the planet, we will, as a species, end up fighting for it, and it'll be like the new oil. We'll fight for every last drop. And if we don't solve this problem right now with fresh water, then all the other problems of the world will foment and become bigger than they should be. Well, Israel should just be an ally. We should see them greet them as an ally who's seeking some sense of growth and trade. Remember, Israel is at the center of the trade vortex that has started around the world. Phoenicia was the pre-Israel state. And Phoenicia served Asia Minor and all the areas that we are seeing today as the prime hub for trade. And that's one of the reasons why we need to restore this central area to at least some level of equilibrium. Because right now it's not there. With Israel fighting on Syria and Syria hating on Israel and us intervening with the rebels in Syria, it created a lot of hostility. And it has not in any way dissipated. Trump is in fact increasing the likelihood of nuclear war by not initiating a plan for an intermediate nuclear force treaty with Vladimir Putin. Trump is letting go of a tremendous opportunity to make Putin look like crap, because Putin is running around threatening the world with worse and worse weapons than we could ever describe. He's got a big mouth on him. What is the old adage? Big man, little mouth, little man, all mouth. Well, Putin's got a big mouth. And that's the real problem, is he's creating more problems than we even need to deal with. Threatening the world with nuclear missiles that can go 27 times the speed of sound, that could reach our shores within 5 minutes, is provocative. Now, he must control Trump in order to be making these statements without any recourse. He must have his talons deep into Trump's administration if he can run his mouth off like that, threatening Western powers with dangerous nuclear war, and allowing Trump to sit there and mouth off, go, oh, well, we're working on a good plan, Putin and I are very close. I mean, the whole thing is turning into a disaster, where Putin is muscling in on all of the Western nations, pretending like he's the rogue nation with nuclear weapons ready to destroy the world. And you Trump supporters sit back and watch this collusion going on in the background thinking, oh, it's no big deal, you know. He's got a good relationship with Vladimir. He doesn't have a good relationship with Vladimir. Vladimir owns him. He is owned by Vladimir Putin. Putin is his handler, and the people that run Putin with money. This whole thing is run out of a primary plan called a New World Order. And if we as Americans stand up to this, we will be able to stop their devious plan. And let me remind you, there has been no plan in the world to take over the world by one group that has succeeded. The nation-state model has withstood scumbags like this thing right here many times before. We've had Hitler, we've had Caesar, we had Napoleon. The nation-state model will survive against the scumbag world of the New World Order, a concoction that is simply a rebranding of the old monarchies trying to seize permanent power over the human race, which it's too late for that. The word's out. The people have been made aware. And the rich people who think they can dominate everybody all around the world, their days are numbered. Because this effort will stop them in their tracks. This effort to build America's third party will stop them from taking over the world and will bring freedom, and freedom will reign among all nation states as it should be. All right. We're going to sign off with Mr. Right. Take care, everybody. We'll see you again on Monday. Conspiracy Monday starts at 5 p.m. Enjoy the show tonight. I'll be in chatting till 2 in the morning.
My feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt. Oh, my Mr. Right, too good to be true. My world around, cause you're the peace I find. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. My feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. My Mr. Right, too good